Thank you. I was worried in the beginning. You said you had a group of fantastic speakers, and I was afraid you were going to say they couldn't make it. So they had me fill in. Well, thanks for the opportunity to come speak, and thanks, Boo, for inviting Medtronic to participate. It's a bit ironic because while Medtronic is undoubtedly the largest medical technology company in the world globally, they're a relative newcomer to the gastroenterology field. And my goal over the next 10 minutes or so is to give you an overview of who we are and what our intentions are in artificial intelligence, per se. So this first slide gives you a bit of background. This company, Medtronic, was formed in the mid-1940s in Minnesota in the U.S. as a medical technology repair company. And the gentleman on the right, Mr. Earl Bakken, was an engineer at heart, and he invented in the mid-1950s the first wearable battery-operated pacemaker. And you see this in early 1960s. It's been used by a physician with a young child. This was the start of Medtronic's mission to be an innovative leader in the medical field. And over the last 70 or so years, we've, I think, lived up to his mission. As you see currently, this was through 2019 statistics, Medtronic represents the largest, from a revenue perspective, medical technology company in the world. And I'll give you some examples of why that is. But importantly, the company itself now is represented in over 150 countries with 90,000 employees trying to support that innovation mission. We've got over 10,000 engineers and scientists running over almost 400 clinical trials, working in 20 or so labs. And importantly for us in this space, we've got almost 50,000 patents that have been issued. So there's a lot of creative energy in this space. And to give you an example of some of the things that illustrate that, I think one is in the cardiac and vascular areas, Medtronic has the world's smallest pacemaker that they've developed. Also a leader in transcatheter aortic valve technology. In diabetes, they've invented the first artificial pancreas with this closed-loop MiniMed 670G system. In other areas throughout the body, the deep brain stimulation devices, the DBS system, artificial cervical discs in the orthopedic and spine area. And closer home to us, we reside in this minimally invasive groups. They're a leader in the original laparoscopic vessel sealing and stapling areas. And more recently, areas such as the advanced brain monitoring through our acquisition of Aspect Medical. That is a technology along with navigation, super dimensions and lung that is an area of intense focus for the company. They're spending currently over $4 billion a year in research and development across all the divisions, trying to continue to push this innovation pedigree further along. But they're a recent newcomer to the GI field. And I started out with Boston Scientific in the early or late 1980s, and Medtronic was nowhere to be seen. And it took until about 7 years ago for them, through the acquisition of Covidien, to really get into this area. But they have made an incredible commitment to GI, and this is just the beginning of what you'll see as a strong commitment to investing in this area. We've got a small but growing portfolio of both GI and hepatology-based products. You've probably met a Medtronic salesperson who's shown you those. Importantly, they've invested over £1 billion in the last 7 years in building out a portfolio of innovative therapies. And just 3 examples of these, the acquisition of Given Imaging with the PillCam, Barrx with the radiofrequency ablation for early esophageal cancer, and then the Beacon ultrasound needle technologies. And all of these things have been acquired with a target of trying to diagnose and treat GI cancers and chronic diseases early. We will be moving into the screening in a more robust way, which will then give us a screening, diagnosis, and technology pillars. So that brings us to the AI platforms. Medtronic is fully committed to AI. And importantly, I guess actions speak louder than words. We have 10 either collaborative relationships or acquisitions we've made over the last 10 years. In artificial intelligence, have over 50 dedicated people focused on it around the world. And the two that I'll talk about a bit more, and then Mr. Cherubini will talk about Cosmo a bit more this afternoon, will be Cosmo Pharmaceuticals relationship and our acquisition of Given with the capsules. And I won't talk about it today, but we've also got a investment in Neutrino, which is focused on lifestyle management and nutrition. So this first entry into this for us is this relationship with Cosmo, and it's called the GI Genius. And its intention is really to help with polyp detection. And there's some things that make it really unique and things that make it really attractive for a company like Medtronic, who have 90,000 employees around the world, to help spread this technology and improve access for patients. One is, we know that there's an emerging group of data that's coming out on this field. If Medtronic's going to be involved in it, we need data to back up the claims that we'll make to you as physicians. The second is, the system needed to be versatile. This is agnostic to the endoscopic tower it's used with, and for hospital systems that are trying to implement technologies across regions and areas, trying to determine which hospital has which system is a nightmare. So that was an important component for Medtronic. The third part is, not unlike what you'd see with Netflix, the way our business model is set up is that the hospitals would be signing up for a subscription, and regularly, our goal is 2 times a year, we will be providing software updates as the technology improves. You don't buy a system and then have to sit with that system for 6 years until you can get the next capital budgeting cycle. It's something that will be done on an ongoing basis. And the most important part, perhaps, is it's available now. We are evaluating the systems across Europe, in Western Europe particularly, and there are evaluations going on in a number of centers. So that's the first component. The second thing that we've done, as you probably are familiar, if you're familiar with PillCam, the PillCam small bowel capsule, we are moving this AI relationship forward in stages. This first one is, one of the great parts about the PillCam is you get all of these images. One of the downsides of the PillCam is you get all of these images. So what the goal is to help using AI to take those images and identify the particular images that are the most suspect. And what you'll see in this top 100 system that we've developed, which combines the SB3 capsule and a version 9.0 software, is that you will get a series of 100 images, but it will help identify the images that are the most suspect, to really help the physicians focus on finding and identifying the pathology first. That is in the SB3 capsule. There was a clinical trial done to back up the findings that it was nearly as good as having sit down and review each individual slide. The combination of the both, we think, is the right way forward. We're doing the same thing for PillCam colon capsule, and in this time, instead of bleeding of obscure origin, it's now a patient with a polyp, and we're providing the same kind of support, we think, for the physician reading the program. So in summary, we are committed to AI, and we're glad and very fortunate to participate. There's a significant amount of R&D investment, both internally, and we're looking outside, keeping the aperture wide open. There's a disproportionate investment in GI for this space, and it supports the long-term growth strategy of screening, identifying early, and treating early. The technology that we're looking at is focused on helping a broad spectrum of physicians in district general hospitals, in academic centers. With our breadth and reach, that's one of our primary objectives. And as I said, it's something that if you're interested, we are actively evaluating the technologies across Europe. That's it. Thank you.